Now, even just getting to the songs itself, we're talking about 24 songs, and you and I had a conversation before we started the show, and you're talking about how there's some songs that didn't even make it to the final cut of the songs that are there. But even just the features in themselves, people expected certain names there. People expected your maps to be on the album. People expected probably your brother Maki too to be there. But is there a particular reason why you left out these artists? And these are artists who are doing very well at the moment. Yeah. I know Maki is a retired general, so maybe there we can understand.
Actually, I've always wanted to work with Maki too on every album I've ever done because yeah, he's Maki too. He's the type of relationship that we have as colleagues in the music industry, as brothers on a personal level. I've always wanted to work with him. So I think the reasoning behind me leaving out certain names is I also want to like measure my influence at the moment in the music industry. I didn't want to feature any big names because then again I wouldn't know if I wouldn't know where I stand exactly in the music industry. So me leaving out people that are doing big numbers, people that are the most happening right now, in a way is me trying to figure out where I stand in the Zambian music industry. Apart from that, I was just looking at the vibes, the message I was trying to communicate.
Yeah.
I went for who was better suited rather than who's big right now. So I believe everyone I featured on the album was better suited for what I wanted to put out eventually. And yeah, the other reasoning would be just to like shine a light on artists that people normally wouldn't pay attention to. I love this guy, I'm a fan of their music. I put them on my song just so they can be exposed to an audience they normally wouldn't interact with.
At the level you've reached at as Chef 187, do you still have artists who give you a hard time when you're trying to feature them? You're trying to get them on a song, but they're busy, what? Do you ever get that from artists still at this point?
Musicians are unique beings. So yeah, there are times when, but I understand because even me, you can't just wake me up and tell me to say, oh, be on this song. I have to be in the right mood. I have to be inspired. Sometimes people are not inspired, so you have to wait for the right time. So even for the features that are on the album, we had to wait for the right time. I just didn't get people randomly to say, hey, be on this. I think the only artist I did that with was Dismo. I just called Dismo up to say, hey, is this song I want you to jump on? And in a minute he was there doing his verse. So yeah, I like to wait for people.
I mean, it's Chef 187. Why am I going to waste time?
Yeah, but like I said in the beginning, we had a hard time putting everything together. Yeah. So it means I faced a lot of difficulty.
Yeah.
Even though I'm Chef 187, sometimes it's not a bomba. Sometimes you have to be patient with creatives. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to force people.
Yeah.
And therefore, umuntu ayibombera fina nkofe palwa kofe not at cut ni mina omuchita koesi bomba bwangu so I like to let people work in their comfort zone and at their own pace for Malaka.
So have you ever dropped a song, maybe you planned on featuring this person and you had to drop it because they took long, all those creative issues?
Quite realistic with you. No, actually no.
Really?
Actually no.
Hope even just changed the thought, let me save the name here.
What normally happens is they deliver at the last minute. Okay, if these vocals don't come through on such a time, we'll go ahead. But I've been palace time vocals here. So the fact eventually we even finish recording a song without the vocals coming in. I don't think so.
And one thing I've noticed about your album, because most artists do this, and I see this almost all the time in Zambia, where if an artist drops an album, there'll be at least 1 or 2 songs that they released maybe the year before, a few months before, that did very well, and they throw it onto the album. But I'm surprised you never did that. I even thought Timaleta Zinabwanji would maybe be a part of it or something, but we never saw that. That's how much variety of choice you had, that you couldn't even put some of these songs that you had released even. Yeah,
so initially I thought about putting songs like Husband Material.
Yeah, I thought it would be there as well.
Imaleta Zinabwanji. But then again, I had like 25, 26 songs already. So there was no reason to like include songs that people have already heard, because obviously, Dama songs was skip like on an album because they've already heard the music. So why put something that people will be next to?
Wow, that's actually a nice way to
put it. I believe I had a variety of songs such that I didn't need any old songs. And also it was a deliberate move to not have a single leading to the album.
Yeah.
Because then again, it was going to give away whatever magic I had on the album. So we just decided to drop.
And people already said reacting to their own there. But I know soon, maybe who knows where artists are. You people plan these things ahead. So maybe there's been a video for a few songs. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, we've been doing videos for, like I said in the beginning.
Yeah.
I've been recording this for the past 2 years. So I think one of the first videos I shot for this album was in 2022, which is like last year April, somewhere there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is for which song?
There's a song called Tatanga Chavuke. Yeah.
All right, nice. But I'm sure you've also seen the reaction from people. One of the songs, apart from Pedison Daka, people are feeling Service Daiwesha Mileage. That's one of my personal favorites right now.
Oh, is it?
Yo, that one.
Interesting choice of song.
And it's interesting because you guys just came off the hype of Lewa. And then the message here, I know there's been a conversation also on social media.
Yes.
One moment telling, people Lewa, which
is why I like to call myself wrong model, because I think people should understand eventually to say music sometimes can be entertainment just, and you shouldn't really take it as anything rather than entertainment. So like Lewa was purely entertainment, but if we were to like add a message to that song, I would say it's a song that use the simplest tools at your disposal to get to the highest level in life. So the simplest tools at your disposal could be or ka diploma certificate or any skill set that you have, use that to get to the highest level in society.
That's the rapper in him, trying to twist things, make a message out of it. And that's the thing, it makes a lot of sense. And I know even Not That Important is also another song that people are vibing to. But who makes the final decision? I know you've got a team around you, but who makes the final decision of what should be going out or what remains? How do you go through those processes before you make that final decision?
Eventually, it's on me to make the final decision of what song makes it on the album and what song doesn't make it on the album. But I've got a team around me. There's the technical team, which includes producers, sound engineers, and the like. And there's management. I've got several people that are under my management. So they also have a say to say, I think this song, let's not shoot a video for this particular song. Let's go for this one. This song shouldn't be on the album. But eventually, it's up to me. Maybe on the technical side of things, there's like verses that didn't make it on the album. There's verses that producers said, specifically said, oh, this verse, I don't think we need it. Oh, this verse from this person, I think let's leave it out. Yeah, so there's things like that, but ultimately it falls on me.
And what's and I know it's been some time since you've had to talk about this, but what's the status quo with Nexus music? Because that also, it never made sense to people how one moment Chef is under Nexus music, and then I think there was a post where you got surprised that I think they dropped a song of yours or something like that. But what's really
was it?
We saw a comment in the comment section. Anyway, so many questions have come from that particular signing. But what's the status quo with that?
Yeah, so my contract with Nexus Music was for 2 years. I signed in 2020, and yeah, in 2022 it was done. For me, it's as simple as that. I only didn't announce. I think my biggest mistake was not announcing to say I am no longer under Nexus Music. But also that I felt was the most convenient thing to do, because it was going to be at a time when there was a lot of rumors flying around, rumors about the label. So me not announcing was in a way protecting myself and the label at the same time. So yeah, I had an amazing time with Nexus Music. I benefited a lot from the label, and yeah, I can't complain. They really took care of my needs, and I tried my best to also give back by putting out a deluxe album, the Bon Appetit deluxe album. So I had a nice time at Nexus.
Weren't there any options to renew, or were you just not interested to renew your contract?
But
that's how contracts work. You know, you've got a deal. There's, when your contract ends, there's options to renew, especially if you there's a mutual benefits benefiting both sides. You want to renew?
Yeah, of course. There was always an option to renew, but I decided to focus on my partnership with Alpha Entertainment. So I went back to my record label, which is Alpha Entertainment.
All right. So now only under Alpha Entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like I've always been.
Okay. All right. There's someone who sent me a message on my Facebook. He was complaining that I've never hosted Chef 187 before, which, by the way, is not even true, because I've interviewed Chef about once or twice.
You mean that time you just ran into me by some random place?
Did we do an interview or not?
We did.
You see? And at the time also I called you on this same show. I think we did a phone interview just after Cream Dollar died.
Oh yeah.
I gave you a call, but this person called and he was complaining. Like I'll play the what he said to me, but I hope he's happy now. I've just forgotten the name. Hope he's happy. But you know, one thing about the album I've also noticed, you released it on time, and I've noticed this about other artists also who they'll tell you this time for a release or this day things would delay. I tend to wonder what sometimes could be leading on to that. But you released it early in the morning on that day, and I'm sure you didn't want to disappoint your fans, isn't it?
Most definitely, because this album was supposed to come out in December. So we already let our people know to say, third week of December, I'm dropping this album. Then my distributors told me to say, it could only be ready in January. So we didn't want to mess up with anything. We just wanted to drop it on a day, on a specific time. We promised the people that it would be dropped. So yeah, that was the. But yeah, I'm glad to have had it drop at the time that we promised, and it was exactly midnight. By 01:30 something, I could see people reacting to the music. I could see a couple of reviews from people. And they said, voice note ya 10 minutes wakwesha muri 2 minutes achika the chase
how am I to do all of this? Yeah, I'm sure they even predicted that they would enjoy it. But what is also worth noting, even just with the release, you said December. That's about the same time Chimweka K dropped their album. So I even thought it was deliberate that you pushed yours later, at least for them to have their moment as well.
Actually, the initial plan between the two managements was that we drop on the same day.
Really?
But in hindsight, I think that would have been too much confusion.
Ish.
Yeah,
But do you think that was even going to work out, especially for I know people loving Chimweka K and everything, but looking at how you've also grown your brand, don't you think that was going to overshadow them? Regardless?
No, I think they have the power to hold their own. Yeah, I think they've got enough. They command enough influence to also have their shine. Even if we were to put the albums out on the same day, same time, I think every like artist would have benefited.
Yeah, and I mean Zambia's having also did well in its own right, even with numbers. They don't lie. But there are other artists as well who dropped on the same day as Chef 187, and others were not too happy about that. How did you feel about, these other artists who dropped? Aqualaskin dropped, I think I saw some critic, a few other artists. How did you feel about that?
Well, I think I don't know how to feel about it. People expected me to be offended. I wasn't offended. That day was an open day. Anyone could drop. It's not like I had the rights, like the exclusive rights to be the only artist to drop on that day. So yeah, I welcomed that from the artists that dropped on that day, because I had been planning my album for like 2 years. So I was very confident with what I had to offer. And I was eager to see how they were going to stir up things to if it was going to mess up my drop, or if it was going to get a buzz, if it was going to go unnoticed. I was also curious to see
and what did you notice from the reaction from people?
What I noticed was whatever I had planned out for went smoothly. I could only talk about my drop. The response was overwhelming. It wasn't frustrated by any other release. And yeah, I saw one of the artists saying, oh, I wanted to like also gauge myself, to say, how about I drop something on a day where everyone is expectant of like a Chef 187 album. So yeah, you could understand that. I can't fault that. And I understand that. You come to expect that in the music industry, because you it's almost unrealistic to not expect it.
Yeah. Let's talk about Pedison Daka. That's literally the first song I heard. In fact, I didn't even listen to the album yet. People just said sending it to me and sending me that one part of the song.
Which one?
In fact, let's address the Diamond TV issue.
Let's take a photo with the president.
Before we even come to the chiller part, I know people also want us to address the Diamond TV part. And I remember the day, because I'm the one who called you. I'm the one who called you. I gave you a call. Okay, let's hear your version of things. What do you remember about that day?
Okay, so all I remember was, and this is not last year's award.
It was 2021.
Yeah, this is like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So all I remember is Diamond TV nominating everyone, including their moms. Everyone was nominated. Everyone. Chef 187 wasn't nominated. So I was like, oh, cool. Looking at the nomination list, cool. Then I get a call from a certain gentleman from Diamond TV by the name of Chimweka. He said, oh, I want you to perform. Oh, we want you as Diamond TV to perform at this event.
Yeah.
This is what is on the table.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what, I can't really remember what my response was. But yeah, then I forgot about it. And then I was in the studio, catching vibes in the studio. So I was like, okay, if I was to be petty about that situation, what could I say?
Yeah.
So I said what I said.
But I hope you remember that that was not, that money was not for performing. It was not for you to come and perform.
It was for what?
It was not to come and perform. That was just like a very reasonable amount for a transport refund. We must clear this, by the way. It was just a transport refund, and it was a very reasonable, very, very reasonable. But I guess Sheffi took it that
now he wants to call it a transport refund.
How do you think everyone else was asking? It was a transport refund. It wasn't for. But anyway, but also there's a whole debate also in the office. You said someone called you to apologize.
No, I never said that. But in the song I say,
thank you.
Kumpela apology. Oh, kumpela apology kufangira always. But
I was telling people this, my technical crew, I was telling them that this is what he meant, but they thought you meant if someone called you to apologize. No. And Paul saying, want to see that letter at Diamond TV that you sent to Sheffi. I'm like, wait,
no one called me to apologize, and I didn't expect anyone to apologize because I didn't expect you guys to take it that seriously.
No.
Because I was just like making a light moment out of whatever happened.
Yeah, but I mean, so good. We hope you can come to and perform this year.
But who does the nominations though?
It's the people, and that's another thing. When you say Diamond TV, non-Chitako nominate, like, wait a minute, we received nominations, and by the way, the awards, we have auditors, people who audit the awards, and they see what goes on. So it wasn't even Diamond TV to nominate.
But the people that were nominated. Okay, let me leave it.
I know there's a lot of questions there, but story for another day. But what's also a story now is Chela and everything that was said about Chela and the photos, which finally came out. So were you happy?
Yes. So there was this day. There was an event that was supposed to happen in Osaka. It featured, it had Bobby Valentino, Rotimi, Cleo Ice Cream was supposed to perform, as well as myself. So when the guys landed, we went to State House to take a couple of photos with the president and just meet him up. So yeah, we took photos. So they have had after 6 months some photo ties. 1 year ties some photos. Yeah, so I decided to be petty about that by putting it on a song.
Yeah. So meaning, at what point did you create Pedison Daka? So it was just because then it was an event from like 2021, and then there's something that happened from 2022.
I think Pedison Daka was recorded mid 2022.
Okay, which is just after the whole event and so on. But have you seen how?
I wish I recorded it. I wish it was the last song to record, because then I would have
added some more.
Plenty of things to be petty about. Yeah.
But look at how Chela was also reacted to it. Did you expect a response like that from Chela? Because he's been quite cordial about it.
I knew to say he was going to put out the photos once he hears the song. But then again, I didn't expect him to put the photos out that early. I thought, maybe after a week or two, that's when the photos will come out. But the photos came out almost like on the actual day of the release.
Yeah. And I'm sure it also helped with, building on. But it's been, I mean, it's not like he's hating or anything.
He took it well.
Yeah, he took it very well.
I was surprised. He took it well. I was expecting him to be more of Chela.
Yeah. And then you also spoke about, I mean, artists who maybe want to work with you, but maybe on the same project, they are working with people who are saying some stuff about you and so on. I've been trying to put two and two together there. Who could you? But one name was one person who has talked about trying to work with you.
What do you think it was about?
No, but if we look at what has been going on, and I've talked to TAP before, and he's mentioned a few things about, I mean, wanting you guys to collaborate and so and so. So some people think it's TAP you're talking about.
No, actually, TAP never crossed my mind when writing that song, when doing that song. So with that line, there was something else on that line. So that's the censored version. What you hear is like a censored version. There was actually a name on that line. There was a name dropped on that line, but people said, this will be too much. Let's do something about it. So we sort of rephrased it.
Now there's a lot of questions on who this could be.
Yeah, that song had its phases. What it sounds now is very different from what it sounded like when we first recorded it. Yeah, because I recorded it from my home studio, then took it somewhere, it didn't work, then took it somewhere, didn't work, took it somewhere again. So what you hear is like the third or fourth production.
Okay, all right. So I guess we'll never know who this person is.
So that was just like a general statement. If the shoe fits, if that is your size,
I think I need to think harder on who this could be.
Yeah, so that was just a general statement, because there's lots of people that would fit that particular description. But I always like it when people pick sides, you know. It's way easier to deal with a rival or an enemy than a friend who doesn't know where they are. One day they are acting like your enemy, one day they are acting like your besties. It's very difficult. So that was a general statement that I just put out there to say, because it goes into the second verse where I say Ngola Sangwane Chilwane Ninshudi Chilwane. If you are found with the enemy, you are the enemy. So pick a side, no neutral, black or white, uleana nani. So it's the same point.
Okay, and I mean, still on that, I mean, we're all about unity in the Zambian music industry and so on, but when we talk about picking sides, usually people still try to make sides be there, especially with obviously coming through from the historic part of Kopala Swag and XYZ. I know people still always like to pay too much attention to that. It took some days before Slab D could post about your album. Some people thought it was, you know what I mean? So people still have that perception that you and the XYZ team have got something going on that no one really understands.
But what? You've seen Makitu and Slab D.
Exactly, and that's the interesting thing, Makitu and Slab D, but particularly Shefi, either Shefi and Bobby, if it's not a Nezlong song, or if it's going to be Shefi and Slab D, if it's not an advert or a campaign or something like that, like working together as the two of them.
Comparisons will always be there. There's lots of comparisons because there's lots of similarities. We are all doing hip-hop music. Hip-hop is a very competitive genre of music. Everyone wants to be number one. There's no rapper that will tell you, me I'm number two, or not if you comfortable with number two, or every rap artist will tell you they are number one and they are the best. If you find a rap artist that tells you otherwise, yeah, so that is why people always like pit us against each other. So as long as I'm saying I'm number one, your fans as Bobby East or Slab D will beg to differ. So yeah, comparisons are always going to be there. If the other people don't share my music, they are going to catch fire for it. But at the end of the day, we are artists and not music bloggers. So you can't really put pressure on someone to share another artist's music.
So, but are you doing anything, or do you plan on doing anything about that to sort of clear any kind of thoughts that people might have, especially from the two camps?
Even if we were to collaborate and do a song together, there will still be division. They will still say, this one had the best verse.
Yeah.
We had the one now, Lolimbo. That's right.
Yeah.
So I think comparisons and divisions will always be there as long as we are hip hop artists, because somehow that is like the way the hip hop genre has been set up. It's been set up for artists to like go against other artists.
Let's talk about now going international, because we keep on talking about
what does going international mean?
Going international is having your music appeal to even people from different countries, and a good number of countries. That's number one. And two, even now going there to actually perform and entertain them as these artists from their very own countries would as well. And there's a lot has been said about that as far as Zambian artists is concerned. Where would you put yourself in that equation in terms of now pushing to dominate other countries outside Zambia, especially with this particular album here?
Sorry, what's the question again?
What are you doing, or where would you place yourself in that whole quest that Zambian artists are having in taking their music to appeal to more than just the Zambian audience here?
Yeah, the first step is to recognize the fact that there's this tagline that has come through. It's called Zambia Kuchalo. I think Zambia Kuchalo is much more than what we think it is. I think there's something going on in the universe, and the world is beginning to open up to a lot of Zambian content, Zambian creatives. So Zambia Kuchalo is not just a tagline. You've seen that from football, from athletics. You've seen that from the music side of things. So when you recognize to say this might be like a special time for Zambian talents to expose themselves on a bigger stage, recognizing that is step number one. Step number two, what have we been doing about it? We've been doing collaborations with lots of international artists. Nowadays, when an international artist comes through to Zambia to maybe do a concert or something, it's much easier to now meet up with the artist and try and collaborate. You've seen artists such as myself. Case in point, last week I was in the UK doing a show, meet and greet events, and also a media tour. That is like us trying to like branch out and tell people about Zambian music. When I was in the UK, I was a very unknown artist. No one knew me. It felt like I am an upcoming artist again, where you have to knock on people's doors, introduce yourself, introduce Zambian music to them, tell them about the Zambian culture. So when we start to make steps like that, I think that is the only way we'll ever get to where we want to take Zambian music, which is across the border. Zambians in the diaspora also have a very important role to play, because it's them that should like lure our other cultures in to say, oh, this is what the Zambian culture is about. This is our music. This is what it means to be a Zambian artist. Oh, the biggest artist in Zambia is this guy. This is the legend. This is where we're coming from. These are the people that laid the foundation. So Zambians in the diaspora have a critical role to play, because we can only do so much from here. We already have people from that side of the world. So I think let's use that opportunity. We can take the same route the Nigerians took. They just didn't blow up from Nigeria. They blew up from London, Atlanta in America. If you if you check out Mr. P from P Square,
Yeah.
he's got family in Atlanta. He's got a house in Atlanta. So it's setting up shop in places where Zambian music is not played. Mwapanga fekwatili ka hub ka Zambian music, and you sell your Zambian music and culture to everyone else around you.
But with that said as well, because I know it's a song you did with an artist from, is it Burundi?
Burundi, yeah.
Where you're rapping in English as well. Are you getting that pressure as well to want to switch a bit more towards the English so that more people can understand what you're saying out there?
Yeah, but there's... okay, so I'm not
Just say it.
It's okay, ukula ikanya sometimes. So there's always that pressure for me personally to start rapping in English. I won't even call it pressure. There's always that temptation, because people say when you rap in English, people understand you better. But music is just music at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what language you use. People dance to music they hardly understand down here. There was a song called Despacito. It was a big song here. I could ask people what it meant. No one told me what it meant. So music is like that. I can do a song in English and it would still be whack. So sometimes it's all about recognizing the fact that beautiful music cannot be denied. When you do beautiful music and just put it on a platform where people are able to notice it, yala one time, it has nothing to do with the language.
And while I was still talking about appealing to the international audience as well, how much of these conversations have you had with Sampa the Great? Because you did Never Forget song together. We saw how successful that was, being on the Black Panther trailer, and looking at Sampa with management in Australia and so on, all these connections they have. Have you had those conversations that, looking to that, maybe you can tap into as well?
Yes, most definitely. My management and her management have always been like talking about exploring lots of different opportunities that we have on the table right now. But
see, on the table right now. The name of the show. On the table right now.
On the table, yeah.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want to preempt anything. I would want to allow negotiations to be conclusive. And then on Nambo Kulandapo. Otherwise, it's something that management has been tabling. Yeah, we are excited about what we can do together. I believe Never Forget was just the beginning.
And the song that people will never forget.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is really dope. And one thing I also love is the fact that your album is available on different platforms. Because I've noticed there's been this trend where Zambians are making their albums and songs exclusive to one platform. But is that really a good thing for accessibility of music?
Every artist is different, so it works for certain artists. But for my brand, I felt it wouldn't really benefit me to have my music on one specific platform, because, for example, my Facebook audience is more comfortable with using Boomplay. When I go to Twitter, I see people talking about Apple Music and Spotify.
Yeah.
So meaning my music really cuts across people from audiences from like different sections of society. So it would be unwise to put the music on one specific platform. I would want everyone to get the music almost at the same time. And that's one thing I am happy about with this album. The Boomplay link came live at the same time with the other links. So people had a variety of platforms to choose from.
Yeah. I'd like for us to conclude on this. It's a bit on the personal side, but also in the public eye as well. People have been bringing this up, and I'm probably you've seen this joke coming up saying Shefi's album is doing really well at the moment, but we're not seeing his wife going live and saying I'm dating, I'm married to the most happening artist. Are these conversations you have with your wife to maybe maintain a low profile? Does she also get tempted to now have that public presence? Because even Makitu's wife has gone into that as well.
Broke Nolonkumba out on all major platforms.
Who knows? Maybe she'll open a Facebook page to market Broke Nolonkumba.
Okay, so maybe if I was to say something about that, we are real people. We celebrate wins. We cry over losses. For example, nakwataka achievement. It's normal for my spouse to celebrate. How she celebrates it is entirely up to her. I have no control over how she celebrates it. So, yeah, so maybe sometimes it's too hard on how people celebrate their wins.
Yeah.
But it's like morning balanda kwikata pakana pamuntu or something like that.
Yeah.
Ngawo umuntu nolwati muchifuba samula sapo chi hook. Tetu mwabadi iwe udedida sana lekechong. So you cannot like tell people how to control their emotions when they are in celebration or when they are in mourning. So it's money phenomenon.
Okay.
I can use that analogy.
All right. Numero Uno, Chef 187, thank you so much for joining us today and for coming through on the show.
Thank you so much. I would like to again let it be known to say Broke Nolonkumba is out on all major streaming platforms. Go and check it out. It's on Boomplay, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on iTunes, Amazon, Deezer, Audiomack, yeah, the album is out. We're doing physical copies. I'll be signing autographs for physical copies. So yeah, I'll let you in on how you can get that. Otherwise, thank you very much for supporting Chef 187. Thank you very much for supporting Alpha Entertainment, for supporting Zambian music in general. It's only with your support that we can get Zambian music going and get it out of Zambia and sell it to other places. 187.
He's done it. He's signed out. There's nothing more I can say. My name is Chimweka. Bye-bye.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, Idionsena Kumazulu. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Drifter Trek and you're now watching On the Table with Chimweka on Diamond TV. Voilà.